For the year 2024, I'm trying to watch one anime a month to at least get 12 new animes on my list, but possibly more because some of these are pretty short. I didn't do anything in February. I was way too busy, but I'm trying to do 2 this month. I finished my first one and I'm halfway through my second one, and I'm gonna get it done before the end of this month. But that being said, let's talk about my second anime of 2024, Ranking of Kings. Ranking of Kings is 24 episodes on Crunchyroll. There is an extra 10 episodes, but I found out those were like side story OVA, so I actually decided to skip those for now because they're not relevant to the story. They're just like little side quests. And there's a season 2 coming out this year. I think it might be a movie, if I'm remembering correctly. Shout out to my best friend Brian for suggesting I watch this for over a year. It was really, really quite good, and I'm really glad that I watched it. Overall, I give it a 7.8 out of 10, which some people might consider low on my scale of things, but it was still really good. Is it in my top 10? No, but there's only one season, so there could be enough happening that it breaks the top 10. I will also say that I tend to be someone who doesn't usually really get into a story until like season 2 or 3. Same thing happened with Avatar: Last Airbender, same thing happened with Demon Slayer, same thing happened with Attack on Titan, so it might just be that I haven't quite gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, this is a really good show. There were some pros and cons to it. I'm going to try and talk a little bit about my pros list and my cons list without getting into spoilers so that you can decide for yourself if you want to watch it. First of all, I want to say that Ranking of Kings, the art style is very, very weird. It was one of the reasons why it took me so long to actually sit down and watch it. But after you get like a few episodes in, you kind of forget that the art style is different. It's very unique, and you just kind of get used to it, honestly. Also, the main character is deaf and mute, and I think the way they represented disabilities in this anime was really, really well done, and being able to overcome that, but also understanding what it's like to be in the shoes of someone like that. So I like that, you know, we have a shonen hero here who has a lot of issues and is definitely not like stronger than everyone else. So some of the pros were, first of all, the main 2 characters, Bochi and Kage. I would die for them. They are adorable, and Kage is not even like a normal, like he's a shadow. He just has 2 eyes and he's a black blob, and I'm like, why would I literally die for this black blob? Boji is just adorable. He is this kind kid who just wants to be king. He wants the best for everyone. He wants to be strong, but he struggles, and I would protect these 2 with my life. The friendship that they develop had me in tears multiple times. Something about me is that when it comes to a story, the story doesn't have to be perfect. If I feel for the characters, I'm gonna love the show. I felt that also there was a lot of really good plot twists that had my jaw literally on the floor, and it overall was like a fun medieval story. Now, a couple of my issues that bring it down from like an 8.5 to a 7.8. First of all, there's a plot point that happens in like the last 2 episodes that literally had me laughing because it came out of nowhere so much that I couldn't help but laugh, but it wasn't a comedic moment. There was some lazy writing at the end. Now, again, this is just the first season. I've heard that the mangaka might have been having some health issues at the end of this one, which is very common, and when that happens, a lot of things tend to get rushed. It did feel a little bit rushed. It felt like we were getting to a point where it was like, okay, this might be the end of the story as a whole, so we have to wrap it up. And it was like, there were some things that were like, that's kind of not really explained well, or that was kind of like, that didn't need to happen. A lot of stories have this thing where when they write their villains, they give them like a redemption arc, or the villains are very clearly just like messed up people that had really hard lives and made bad choices. And in this situation, they tried to go that route, and I think they really fumbled it. They wanted me to like really feel for this villain, and I just didn't care. And the way the story for that villain ended was by far the most frustrating thing for me. Again, I'm not going to go into details because I don't want to spoil anyone if they want to watch it. Outside of that, like just the thing with the villain, and then some of the characters, they try to make it like, oh, this person that you thought was good is actually bad, or vice versa. This person that you thought was bad was actually good, but there was not a lot of development. Like there was one character where I thought like they kind of sucked, and then randomly like the next episode, it was like, oh, they actually care. And there was no like explanation as to why they were acting the way they were acting, and it felt very like, okay, I feel like I missed like a whole character arc in the middle, because I feel like this could have been really good. I can see why they got to that point, but I didn't see anything happen. It was just like whiplash. While other characters that did go through that were pretty well developed. So I think this writer has the right idea. I think they just tried to do too many characters like that or something like that. And overall, it was really cute. I don't think it was like the best writing. I don't think it was like the best character writing. I think it was really good. I'd say just checking it out. Like I said, it is on Crunchyroll. I believe it was 24 episodes. You can watch the OVAs as well. I'm not talking about those because I didn't watch them. But do it for Boji and Kage, honestly.